The International Residential Code, specifically Section R314.1, addresses airtight recessed lighting fixtures. It states that recessed lighting fixtures installed in ceilings shall be listed as airtight. If fixtures are not listed as airtight, they must be enclosed in listed airtight enclosures. There is an exception. Recessed lighting fixtures installed in ceilings that are part of a conditioned space and separated from other conditioned spaces by a thermal barrier or continuous air barrier do not need airtight enclosures. Let's break down these requirements in more detail. The primary reason for airtight recessed lighting fixtures is to prevent air leakage between conditioned and unconditioned spaces. Conditioned spaces are areas within a building that are heated or cooled, while unconditioned spaces are areas that are not, such as attics, crawl spaces, or garages. Air leakage between these spaces can lead to several problems. Firstly, it can cause energy loss. Conditioned air can escape into unconditioned spaces, forcing the heating or cooling system to work harder to maintain a comfortable temperature. This results in higher energy bills and increased energy consumption. Secondly, air leakage can reduce comfort. Drafts can occur near recessed lighting fixtures, making the space feel colder in the winter and hotter in the summer. This can negatively impact the overall comfort of the occupants. Thirdly, air leakage can contribute to moisture problems. Warm, moist air can condense when it comes into contact with cold surfaces in unconditioned spaces, leading to mold growth and structural damage. To prevent these problems, the International Residential Code requires that recessed lighting fixtures be listed as airtight. This means that the fixtures have been tested by a recognized testing laboratory and certified to meet specific standards for air leakage. If a recessed lighting fixture is not listed as airtight, it must be enclosed in a listed airtight enclosure. These enclosures are typically made of metal or plastic and are designed to seal around the fixture to prevent air leakage. The exception to this requirement applies to recessed lighting fixtures installed in ceilings that are part of a conditioned space and separated from other conditioned spaces by a thermal barrier or continuous air barrier. A thermal barrier is a material that resists the flow of heat. Common examples include insulation, drywall, and wood. A continuous air barrier is a material that prevents the passage of air. Common examples include polyethylene sheeting, house wrap, and spray foam. If a ceiling has both a thermal barrier and a continuous air barrier, it is considered to be well sealed. In this case, recessed lighting fixtures can be installed without airtight enclosures because the ceiling itself is already preventing air leakage. It is important to note that even if a recessed lighting fixture is labeled as airtight, it may not be listed as airtight by a recognized testing laboratory. In this case, the fixture must still be enclosed in a listed airtight enclosure. Inspectors typically require that recessed lighting fixtures be listed as airtight or enclosed in listed airtight enclosures to ensure compliance with the International Residential Code. There are several ways to ensure that recessed lighting fixtures are airtight. Firstly, choose fixtures that are listed as airtight by a recognized testing laboratory. Secondly, if using fixtures that are not listed as airtight, install them in listed airtight enclosures. Thirdly, ensure that the ceiling has a thermal barrier and a continuous air barrier. Listed airtight enclosures are designed to minimize air leakage from recessed lighting fixtures into unconditioned spaces. These enclosures typically consist of a box made of metal or plastic that surrounds the fixture. The box is sealed to the ceiling using caulk or other sealant to prevent air from escaping. Several different types of listed airtight enclosures are available. Some enclosures are designed to be installed before the fixture is installed, while others are designed to be installed after the fixture is in place. The choice of enclosure will depend on the specific application and the type of fixture being used. When installing listed airtight enclosures, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. This will ensure that the enclosure is properly sealed and that it will effectively prevent air leakage. In addition to using listed airtight enclosures, there are other steps that can be taken to minimize air leakage from recessed lighting fixtures. Firstly, use gaskets or other sealants to seal around the trim ring of the fixture. Secondly, insulate the area around the fixture to reduce heat transfer. Thirdly, use low wattage bulbs to reduce the amount of heat generated by the fixture. Building boxes for recessed lighting fixtures is a common practice to meet airtightness requirements when the fixtures themselves are not listed as airtight. These boxes essentially create an airtight enclosure around the fixture. To build these boxes, you'll need several materials. You'll need plywood or other suitable material for the box construction. You'll also need caulk or sealant to seal the joints and create an airtight barrier. Insulation, such as fiberglass or mineral wool, will help to further reduce air leakage and heat transfer. Finally, you'll need screws or nails to assemble the box. The process of building boxes involves several steps. Firstly, measure the dimensions of the recessed lighting fixture to determine the size of the box. The box should be large enough to completely enclose the fixture, with some extra space for ventilation. Secondly, cut the plywood or other material to the required dimensions. You'll need to cut pieces for the top, bottom, and sides of the box. Thirdly, assemble the box using screws or nails. Ensure that the joints are tight and secure. Fourthly, apply caulk or sealant to all the joints and seams of the box to create an airtight seal. Pay special attention to the areas where the box meets the ceiling. Fifthly, insulate the inside of the box with fiberglass or mineral wool insulation. This will help to further reduce air leakage and heat transfer. Sixthly, install the recessed lighting fixture inside the box. Ensure that the fixture is properly wired and connected to the electrical system. Finally, seal the opening around the fixture with caulk or sealant to prevent air from escaping. It is important to consider the fire safety aspects when building boxes for recessed lighting fixtures. Firstly, use fire-rated materials for the box construction. This will help to prevent the spread of fire in the event of a short circuit or other electrical malfunction. Secondly, ensure that the box is properly ventilated to prevent overheating. This can be achieved by providing openings in the box for air to circulate. Thirdly, follow all applicable building codes and regulations when building boxes for recessed lighting fixtures. The inspector's requirement to build boxes for the recessed lighting fixtures, even though they are labeled as airtight, highlights the importance of third-party listing. While the fixtures may be marketed as airtight, the inspector is likely looking for verification from a recognized testing laboratory. These laboratories conduct rigorous testing to ensure that products meet specific safety and performance standards. Listing by a recognized laboratory provides assurance that the product has been independently evaluated and meets the required criteria. In the context of recessed lighting fixtures, a listing ensures that the fixture has been tested for air leakage and meets the airtightness requirements of the International Residential Code. Even if a fixture is labeled as airtight, without a listing, it is difficult to verify its actual performance. The inspector is therefore requiring the boxes to provide a verifiable airtight enclosure. Always verify listings. Look for markings from recognized testing laboratories such as Underwriters Laboratories Incorporated, Intertek, or Canadian Standards Association. These markings indicate that the product has been tested and certified to meet applicable standards. Consult with local building officials or electrical inspectors to determine the specific requirements for recessed lighting fixtures in a particular area. Building codes and regulations can vary depending on the location.